$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. Are we close to building machines that are almost human? And can new technology give us superpowers? Find out on Super Sapiens. And in 1919, a British composer wrote the longest and most complex symphony in history. Conductors tried to perform it, but failed, declaring it cursed. Now a group of musicians will attempt the impossible, if they dare, on Curse of the Gothic Symphony. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Former NBA superstar Allen Iverson, I think he was the guy that said, practice? Who needs practice?
AI.
Yeah. Just shared a great story about a time that the notorious B.I.G. got him uncomfortably high. As we know, Biggie loves smoking weed and often invited his friends to join him. And back in the 90s, Mr. I Don't Need Practice decided, hey, Allen Iverson, I'll join you. I'll go to the studio. And he smoked up with Biggie.
I was with Biggie Smalls in the studio, and I'm just smoking with him. I remember going to the bathroom, man. Remember the Janet Jackson shirt, the Janet Jackson face, and it had the man. It was on the cover of a magazine. Man, I'm looking in the mirror, and the shirt was not her face. It was an alien face. But that's how the shirt was made, but it was going off of the cover of the magazine. I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm tripping. Like, I'm wiping the shirt off. Like, I'm thinking that it's supposed to be her, but it's this alien cartoon character. So I'm tripping. And, man, I couldn't feel my feet. A lady was walking by me, and I was walking by her, and I was stomping because I couldn't feel my feet. And she was like, AI, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm cool. Can you show me where studio was at? And she directed me to the joint. So I went in there, and Big or C, one of them was like, you smoking again? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, what you want? The hash or the chronic? And I was like, hash? You know what I mean? And they was like, yeah, that's what you were smoking last time. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm tripping.
Wow.
So this fucking weird. Because I'm like, the visual of like Allen Iverson just somewhere banging his feet on the floor is just killing me. Because some woman's like, hey, Allen Iverson, why are you slamming your feet on the floor?
I can't feel them.
I mean, yeah, he's walking like Frankenstein. And of course, he thinks, oh, I'm fine. She goes, dude, you look like you're doing a weird thing over here. You sure you don't need help?
So I'm trying to do the math because Notorious B.I.G. passed away in 1997. Iverson was drafted, it looks like, in 96. So either it was during his rookie season in the NBA or he was hanging out with Biggie Smalls during college. And so he's getting all stoned and all messed up on hash and probably has to go play basketball the next day.
I wonder if it was college. Yeah. It makes sense.
And I guess Allen Iverson right now is working on his own weed company with some guy. They've got a cannabis company.
He's doing a weed company?
Yeah.
Very shocking.
They said they're about to change the game. I hope that they have a strain that's like super powerful called like Biggie's Hash or something like that.
You're right. I mean, with that story, no doubt about it, he should have some sort of Biggie's type of strain.
Or like the Notorious THC.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's going to make you forget you have feet.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's going to change the game. I'm not sure, I don't know what the game is, and I don't know how it's going to be changed, but you know what? If Allen says he's going to change it, he's going to change it.
What a surreal experience, though. There you are, Allen Iverson, obviously a well-known, popular person, but you're with, like, arguably top 2 rappers of all time, at that time, especially.
Yeah.
He's, like, one of the biggest names in music, and he's just, like, getting you so stoned you can't feel your feet, and then you find out, it was hash.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Because I think about, like, my very first time ever getting to smoke was with Cypress Hill in college. It was still like one of the craziest experiences because I was working at a college radio station. They were in town for the Soul Assassins tour. It was them, Funk Dubious, and House of Pain, and I think there was one other act that was on that bill, and it was in Plattsburgh, New York. So, I mean, when you have Funk Dubious on the bill, of course, there's going to be some dubage going on. So, I was able to coordinate like a chance to go record a quick little hey, this is Be Real from Cypress Hill. You're listening to WPLT in Plattsburgh, like one of those liners. And they're like, oh yeah, you could go do that. The management, they said, just meet him at the tour bus, knock on the door, and we'll go from there. I was right. Okay. Sounds great. Because we didn't have cell phones back then, so there's no other way. So knocking on the door. Finally they open, and it's like straight out of Cheech and Chong, man. The smoke just comes out of the bus, and I'm just like, oh yeah. And then at this time, mind you, I'm like, this is freshman year of college, never drank, never smoked, never did anything. But, at that point I drank because I was in college, but like I never smoked. And it was like one of my buddies I was friends with, a guy by the name of Doper, was like, first time we smoke, it's going to be with me. You got to remember that. And I was like, okay. So I had this dilemma, as you'll find out later on, because then they open it up and they're like, hey, do you want to come up into the bus and do the liners, record the lines? I'm like, absolutely. This is so crazy. First time ever on a tour bus. And then Be Real's like, you want to play Sega Genesis with us? I was
nice.
Like, you bet your ass I want to play Sega Genesis. Like, what world am I in right now? I'm hanging out with Cypress Hill playing Sega Genesis, BJ.
That's awesome.
And then they're like, would you like to smoke some of this? And at that time, I'm like, oh man, I promised my friend Doper I'd smoke pot with him. If I ever decide to smoke pot, it would be with him first.
And his name is Doper.
his name is Doper.
Right.
It's just like Boner from Growing Pains. It's really, how can you let him down?
Right. But then in my head, I'm also like, when am I ever going to get a chance to smoke with Cypress Hill?
That's a good point. Never. I think Doper should understand.
So I, of course, said yes, and then smoked, and got lost getting back to the dorms because I was like, I got the recordings. And I wasn't on there for very long after that. I was like their new best friend. They're like, okay, we got you high. Get the F off our bus, basically.
Oh, that's awesome.
I find my buddy Doper. I'm like, and our code for he said, whenever you want to start smoking pot with me, the code will be, let's talk about the Mets. That was, I don't know why. So I'm like, Doper, let's talk about the Mets. And then meet up, and then I'm like, I hate to break this to you, but I'm already stoned. He's like, what the F? He was so mad. And then I told him why. He goes, that's awesome.
Yeah. Doper has to understand. How could Doper be mad at you for that?
To this day, though, I can't call him. Like, I remember the first time when we went to Denver, because that's where Doper was living.
Oh!
And so we were going to meet up. He goes, hey, I'm bringing my wife. Please don't call me Doper. She doesn't know about that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's your real name? I'm kidding. I knew his real name, but I was like, I never called him by his real name.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to do because you've just known him for so long. Did it accidentally slip out at all?
No.
Oh, look at you. You're a champ.
Good friend.
How do you do that? You can't do that. If someone specifically says, please don't call me Doper.
I wouldn't intentionally do it. I'm just an idiot. That it could slip out because, my brain gets so used to certain things. That's why I have trouble with change. Any kind of change where my brain thinks it knows one thing and now you're telling me it's another thing.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to mess up. I know I'm going to mess up. I don't want to mess up. I'm going to mess up. So I would have been dopering all over the joint accidentally.
That would have sucked if the moment he comes in with his wife, I'm like, Doper, got some weed for you, man.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's awesome.
That's got to be a weird thing for him, though. Like, he probably has to walk on eggshells anytime he's around any of his college buddies.
I don't know why he can't say anything. I don't know why you can't just tell your spouse, look, I used to do this, but I got my act together. What's wrong with that?
Right. It didn't happen while they knew each other.
Yeah.
Unless, maybe it came up and, she just hated the nickname, and so, he doesn't even want to go down that road again. He just said, please don't call me Doper.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I can understand. I get, look, you got to do what you got to do to keep the spouse happy. But for me, I think it's, come on. Everybody had a life. Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? She doesn't have to call you Doper.
That might be my favorite nickname of all of my friends.
Doper's good.
Doper's pretty good.
Yeah.
We had Flintstone. That was pretty cool because he kind of looked like Fred Flintstone. And then his brother came to college and joined our fraternity, so we called him Rubble.
Oh, nice. Oh, you didn't even call him. Okay, well, Flintstone and Rubble. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
He didn't look like him, but he was just like, okay, you're part of the Flintstone chain.
There you go. Okay. I love nicknames because sometimes Rubble's just like, really? I mean, I don't deserve this at all just because of my stupid brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
too bad. Too bad, Rubble.
But nothing better than Doper.
Doper is the king. No doubt about it. Doper's great. It's not as good as Boner, but then that was a fake name. That wasn't a real person.
See, in high school, we had a guy, we called him Floppy.
Floppy?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Nobody wants to be called Floppy. Why?
So apparently, because he was on the football team and he couldn't find his shoulder pads, and he goes up to his coach, "Coach, I can't find my floppy things," and it's stuck all through senior year. So
really? That's the whole
to this day, his name in my phone is Floppy.
Floppy.
Yeah.
Just because he said he couldn't find the floppy things.
Yeah.
That's
his
unfortunate.
coach gave him that nickname, and then everyone called him that.
What
that
sucks,
is-
though, is that people are going to make assumptions. At least with
Yes.
Doper, like, when you say, hey, this is my friend Doper, everyone's going to be like, oh, does he smoke pot? Well, like, yes, of course.
Yes.
That's why we call him Doper. With poor Floppy, like, hey, this is my friend Floppy.
Yeah.
My first thought was, like, something popped out.
I'm sure no one else calls him that, and that's what I know him as.
Yeah.
I forget his real name sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I'm with Steve. I thought maybe the guy had issues and he needed a blue pill or something.
No.
I'm just like, I try my best. It's just flopping around there. That's what that's what I was thinking. Good old Floppy.
Joe, do you have any buddies that have a nickname that's a favorite of yours?
Not that I can really think of. We never gave anyone funny nicknames.
What about Coke Can Boy? I
you
gave him
gave him
that.
that.
Yeah, you
nickname?
gave him that one.
Yeah, well, that's his nickname as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think any of the friends were calling him Coke Can Boy.
No, definitely not. But I feel like BJ probably came up with a lot of nicknames for my stupid friends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We could have an entire break of all the nicknames that BJ gave employees.
And the variations of Slappy.
yeah.
Slappy, there's a lot of Slappies.
Yeah.
I think our old bud Matt might have the best one.
Oh, no.
Can we say that anymore? I can't even tell.
I think so. I mean, why not?
I don't want to get in trouble for saying mangina. So I got good old mangina Matt.
Matt.
And I mean, Matt's got himself a successful career and he's got a nice family.
Mama's
And-
boy Troy.
Oh, good old Mama's boy Troy.
Crackhead Chris.
Yeah, I
Short
wasn't too
bus
far off, I think.
Sean.
Oh, good old short bus Sean. He didn't like that name.
Was there a Bend Over Ben?
That was Ben the Psycho Muppet.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was the name we gave.
Shocking
You know
you
what?
don't want to stick with Bend Over Ben.
Yeah, you know what? Ben was a good sport, but he didn't like that name, and I'm
I don't
glad
think
he
anybody liked any of those names, BJ.
Oh, Mama's boy Troy, isn't it? Look, none of those are as bad as well. Mangina Matt's bad, and Bend Over Ben is bad, no doubt about it. But that was time, where you had to give the interns a stupid name. That was the time.
That was the time.
If you look around radio,
I feel like
everybody
Rev
had a
is the one
stupid
who.
name.
I feel like the Rev might have been the one that put the brakes on all that because he came in with his own nickname.
Thank God I made my own nickname and had my email address as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the thing. Rev came in with that, and so we just beat him up for that. Like, he's got his own nickname. Who's this guy think he is?
I'm
That
fine
kind
with
of
that. It wasn't something worse.
Yeah, so everybody had a nickname.
So he says my good friend's nickname is Nubs because he lost his fingers from a weed eating experience.
Again, you would think that's what Nubs is.
a weed eating experience?
Yeah, kind of wish we had more information about that.
Wait, he hurt himself on a weed eater, like a weed whacker?
Okay,
Oh,
maybe
I
a
thought-
weed whacker.
I thought he ate an edible and then he chopped his own fingers off.
The weed eater was basically a weed whacker, but it was the brand. Yeah.
Oh my!
I hope it was that and it wasn't ate so much weed he decided to nub on his...
Dude, those
Fingers.
weed whackers can take off a finger? Okay, that ain't cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
those things don't mess around, BJ.
I know they can beat up the grass pretty good. I didn't know they get your finger like that. Damn.
Oh, so don't forget Johnny Rubbers.
Oh, yeah, right?
That wasn't my nickname for him.
I think that was
Steve's
mine.
nickname.
Yeah, that was yours.
So,
Which
hey, I
it's
guess
coming to some cool now. It's J Rubs with a Z.
With the
Yeah.
Z, yep.
Yeah, and Joey D's nuts. You've given some nicknames, Steve, so it's like the stupid nicknames are still around.
But mine are nice.
Are they really Joey D's nuts?
Yeah, Joey doesn't seem to
And,
mind
and
it.
Johnny
right?
Rubbers. Yeah, okay.
Joey D's nuts.
Yeah, BJ, you didn't even give me a middle name. You just gave me a letter. At least Steve gave me a full name.
Right. Yeah.
That was your mom's doing, okay? You and your sister don't have middle names because mom wanted to have it to be vague so she could make it whatever she wanted.
A texter said when I was little, I would lick my lips during the winter when they were dry. I had a red ring around my lips, and my friends called me Tidy Bowl.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's delightful. Okay. I think Mama's Boy Troy's better than that.
I think so.
Yeah. There was a fist fight that broke out between two passengers on a flight, and it was for the dumbest reason. I'm going to tell you all about this at 8:18 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Your kids will be saying,
"Please 5 more minutes. I can't believe I did that."
and
"Look how high I can bounce."
Spring Free is the world's safest trampoline, the place where stories are made. The innovative design boasts no springs, so you know you're safe. Go ahead and create the greatest stories you'll tell your friends. We're back in stock. Get it while you can. To learn more about the world's safest trampoline, visit springfreetrampoline.com.
Mom, come watch us.
New on Curiosity Stream. With superior armies comes superior weapons. How has innovation mechanized the battlefield? From bullets to battleships and everything in between. It's machinery of warfare. Plus, from the gross to the gourmet. See how that in-flight meal lands on your tray table. On secrets of your airline food. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
99.9 KISW, the Rock of Seattle. A wild fistfight broke out between two passengers on an American Airlines flight, apparently over a reclined seat that got stuck. Oh, man.
People just are on edge on planes, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, that reclined seat, I mean, you know, I get it. You know, it bothers the hell out of you. You don't got a lot of space, and if you're a taller person, that reclined seat in your face is just on your knees. It sucks.
Oh yeah, I do. I hate it when someone has to recline back because I'm just like, man, my knees are getting crushed. That's why I love the exit rows. Also because it makes me feel like I'm a hero.
Oh yeah, of course.
I let everyone know that.
Yeah, so if you see the video, man, you can check it out on the BJ and Migs page of KISW.com. It shows two men trading blows in the cramped cabin as other travelers look on and beg them to stop during Sunday's trip from New Orleans to Austin. And the footage shows one man putting his finger in the face of another passenger before he punches the man as another person stood between them. And I
just wanted to feel how like his skin felt. I mean,
yeah, that's all.
Isn't that what we all do? Hey, sir, may I please touch your skin?
Yeah. No. Two men then started punching the passenger who appeared to throw the first blow, sending them into another row of seats. Other people are screaming, "Please stop this!" I mean, it is just,
dude. It's a full-on. It's bedlam in there. Like I'm watching the video of it. One guy's just getting a ton of body blows. They pull them apart. It's like straight out of like an MMA or a WWE thing where you get the pull apart, and then one of them says, "Nope, not done," and breaks through the pull apart and just starts punching the other guy as well. Like, part of me would be like, I'd probably be asleep while all this is going on because that's what I do on a plane. But I'd be so bummed if I missed this because it'd be probably fun to watch.
I think you might have woken up for this.
If I'm in that area, one guy's pants has fallen down. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's always a good look. Dude, this is a beating. I mean, literally. Yeah. You know, it's just... and
they're all just yelling, "Please stop," everyone on the plane. I mean, that's kind of... You're on a plane. You're like, oh, great. Now what's going to happen is we're going to have to make an emergency landing and deal with these idiots.
Well, luckily they did get to go to Austin. They were like, we're close enough to Austin with these idiots that we're just going to land there and let the Austin officials deal with it. And that's what they did. That would have sucked if you had to go to another airport.
I do like, though, that one woman was kind of trying to push one of the guys, but it looked like she was adjusting his pants.
Yeah.
It's like they keep falling. Like, I don't get why pants always end up falling, even if you have a belt during the middle of a fight. I've noticed.
When you're on a plane, I don't know if you guys, I'll loosen my belt.
Oh, you will? Oh,
yeah. You got to be a little more comfy, yeah.
But then again, I typically try not to fly wearing a belt.
Yeah.
Like, I like to wear like joggers or something like that. I'm not going to wear dress pants or pants.
See, you got to be careful then because you may get in a fight, and if that happens, they're going to fall down.
my joggers have elastic band. They're not going to fall down if I just walk.
All right, you take your chance. I'm going to go with that belt, and I'll secure it, make sure everything's fine.
Next time I'll have to make sure to just wear boxing shorts.
Oh, there you
get
go.
ready for the big fight.
Wow. Just have like the Rocky theme on your phone ready.
Right.
For any moment. You never know.
Have the Rocky theme ready at any given moment. That just seems kind of ridiculous. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought that he wouldn't have this ready. Yeah,
that'd be great if they started playing that over the loudspeaker.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, they've got the ability. They got a phone. They can just, they can get their phone and then just plug it into the microphone.
Yeah, the little PA system thing. Yeah,
they can do that. Oh, dude, people are losing their ass. There's no doubt about it. This is not a good time to be around people. I have to tell you.
I don't understand it though with that one because it's just like, can't you just have the conversation like, sir, I wish I could unrecline it. It's stuck. I can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? Like you would think at that point, if the seat is actually stuck, even me, like I'm not a fan of when people recline their seats, but I get it. It's like, that's just how it is. But if someone said, look, I can't unstuck it. I can't get it to go back up. I'm sorry. I'm like, well, I've had that problem too.
So is your question, why are crazy people not reasonable? Is that what
yes.
you're... Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's not a good time. It is not a good time to try to be reasonable with anybody.
No, you're right.
They don't want it. They just don't want it.
Dude, it's like that's just like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this on the road, but I feel like the level of road rage has definitely grown recently.
Oh, yeah.
It's like people get all pissed for, like, when we were driving to Bellingham, my buddy Dean and I were heading off to Bellingham, and I put my signal on. It's on forever. I'm trying to get over because I have to get onto 405. And this car is like, just right there, just enough where I could easily just like sneak right in and cut them off. But I'm like, okay, they're going to see my blinker. They're going to slow down at some point, or they'll do what a lot of people watching do, and they'll speed up and I'll just get right behind them. But they're just kind of like riding that. So I speed up a little bit so I can, okay, maybe they'll see it. Maybe they'll see it. Eventually there's enough of a gap that I swoop in, and I see them behind me like throwing their arms in the air and freaking out. I'm like, at some point you got to see that I have a signal on. I'm not trying to be a douche about it. And I didn't like aggressively go in there. I made my way in like anyone else would. Like, what? I'm sorry, another car got in front of you douche.
Yeah, I feel like people are not used to the level of volume that's back on the road. And I know this when I used to take my seminars and then I would come back into real life, and it would be like everything moved quickly. It was stressful to go like, whoa. Yeah. Even though everything was the same before I left, but I slowed down. So imagine entire pandemic life where you're driving, the roads are clear, maybe you're not even driving a lot, and now people are just getting slammed with regular traffic. The speed is definitely up just about how the pace of life goes, and they're losing it even more. I mean, they're just like, this is unacceptable. This guy wants to come into my lane and get onto it.
How dare he want to come over?
I know. I've never I look at it like, guys, whenever you approach an interchange or a big anything, you know that people are coming in or trying to get off. And how do you why do you get mad over that? Especially if you're in the right lane. If you're in the right lane, or you just got to know people are getting over. And people just like, I don't understand. It's like, well, you're in a big city. What are you going to do? There's left exits, there's right exits. You can't be an idiot. You're going to know that people need to move over. It's just how it is.
Someone knows your signal out. LOL. Nope. I even checked it later on that day. That was in my head. I'm like, good call. All right, maybe they didn't see my signal. Because who knows? Maybe that is the case. No,
that is a possibility. Yeah,
it's completely fine. They didn't want anyone else in their bubble, apparently.
Well, I
see it even with other, just driving around, you see someone pull in, and I'm like, well, what they did would seem normal, and you see the other person behind them flashing their high beams at them, and I'm just like, guys, you don't own this highway. Like, you got to work with each other here.
Oh, don't be crazy.
Okay?
Don't be. I mean, yeah. I just found out that I was doing my high beams wrong. And I was like, why don't people move over? I'm letting them move over. I don't understand this. I'm giving them the signal. Turns out I was flicking the wrong button, so they never knew I was giving them the signal.
What button were you flicking?
Well, I flipped
the radio.
I flipped
the power wash.
Well, but you know what? I have clean windows. I don't know what it is with the high beam thing that I have, but you can move it forward and you can move it backwards. And so I kept moving it forward, and I thought that was the way the high beams turned on. And it turns out you got to, I guess, when they're not on, when you have your lights on, you move it forward to turn the high beams on. But if you want to flash somebody while the lights are off, you got to move it backwards. And that I didn't realize.
Oh.
But but then I realized I found that out accidentally, and I'm like, oh no, this is never, because I could finally see my beams on another car, and I'm like, oh wow, I've never seen that before, which means I have never been giving everybody the signal that I thought I've been giving them, and I've been cussing them out like, what's wrong with you? I'm letting you come over. Crying out loud, being courteous, and you're not even doing it.
Someone said, Migs, we truck drivers, we go through this all the time with people getting all mad at because that too. I've had that happen where it's like a truck. I see their signals on, and I'm like, of course, I'd much rather be in front of the truck, but I'm not. Like they're trying to get over it. I'm not going to be that guy that speeds up, So I slow down, let them in, and then the car behind me will like throw their arms in the air. Like, how dare I let this other vehicle in our lane? I didn't know it was an exclusive club.
I know, people are idiots. It's just like the zipper merge. Everybody gets so mad when you use the zipper merge properly.
Zipper merge?
Yeah.
Zipper merge?
Yeah.
I don't have a zipper.
Yeah. So bad.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Zipper merge? I don't have a zipper.
Yeah.
I love that
really,
so much.
That really is the state of Washingtonian driving.
Straight up.
I mean, I went into the city recently, and there it was again, a gigantic line as 5, or for me, as 90 was going into 5. And I'm just like, look at these people again. There's a giant line. I will just pop over to the left side and zipper merge this. And every single car I went by was like, you should die, you should die, you should die, you should die.
Or you get the guy that tries to, or girl, whoever it is, tries to block the zipper merging from happening, even though they're not towards the front of it, so they kind of move their car so they block that lane. You ever see that?
And it's like
not all heroes wear capes or villains.
And it's like, you will get such a ticket for this if anybody sees you do this, because this is a legal thing that I'm doing. You very bad driver, you. Yeah, it is. It's just amazing to me that people don't get it. They don't want to get it. Even though they're told this is how it is, they don't want to get it. And next thing you know, they're flipping off Steve.
Zipper merge? I don't have a zipper.
No, you don't, sir.
Oh.
So I don't know if this is news for you, Steve.
Uh-oh.
I think it's for a lot of people. There's a Led Zeppelin documentary coming soon.
Oh, Kiss just did it, man.
Yeah,
Kiss
sorry.
did it first.
Right, they're the same band. Okay.
Sorry.
You got to be on Team Kiss, Team Zepp.
I got to keep it going. I got to keep my teen life going there, BJ. No, I did see this, man. And I honestly never even thought that there was not a Led Zeppelin documentary. I just never even thought about it.
I never did either. And apparently this is big news because the band is actually cooperative. They are actually endorsing this movie, which is going to be based on their career. So there's a lot of interviews. This director, Bernard McMahon, has revealed the title of the documentary. It's called Becoming Led Zeppelin. Okay.
Oh, I heard he originally was going to go with Backdoor Man, but then he realized, okay, that's just...
Backdoor, I mean, it's still applicable. But
I mean, it's a lyric in one of their songs. But then he was like, I'm getting a whole different type of fan base from this.
Yes, that's a good point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the project, which was first announced in 2019, has unprecedented access to the band. And here you go. Well, they're a legendary band, so I know a lot of people will want to watch that documentary, especially since the band is endorsing it.
One of my favorite music documentaries had, Jimmy Page, but it wasn't about Zeppelin, but obviously Zeppelin was covered in it. It was that It Might Get Loud documentary.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jimmy Page, Edge from U2, and Jack White. 3 different styles of guitars, but all rock stars, like rock, guitar gods.
That was a good one.
But they all had a different vibe and a different flavor of how they played, and the whole documentary was about the 3 of them and all them in a room together. It was a great documentary.
Yeah. So if it's anything like that, which I'm sure it will be, it should be good. And plus, even they're going to have some archival interviews from John Bonham.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so they'll have some stuff from John. And if you don't know, John passed away early in his life, and so that'll be cool to have like the band do interviews now, some stuff from John from back in the day, and have and who knows what we'll learn. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see if there's some stuff that comes out of here that people did not know about Zeppelin at all, even some of the hardcore fans.
Well, I hope that I got to imagine it will be the case because they all seem very honest. Whenever you see interviews with like Jimmy Page or Robert Plant especially, they'll just kind of tell you how they feel about whatever, the band never getting back together or this, that, and the other thing. So I got to imagine that this documentary will be a pretty interesting watch, even if you're not like a huge Zeppelin fan. Plus, they better cover the whole Green Lake performance. I know they won't probably. But that'd be pretty sweet if they did.
Gosh, nice. Right? Now they're in their 70s. I feel like that's the age where you can go, here you go. Here's the whole deal.
Here's the truth. I don't care anymore. I crapped my pants 2 hours ago. That's just what happens.
That's what's going on.
So if there was a band that you could have a documentary done on, that I'm trying to think of one because I'm like, maybe the documentary's already been done. But my first thought was I would love a documentary about Guns N' Roses from the early days of them just being like, are you like just a dangerous band? Like they just seemed like they were just taking no prisoners, to the lineup changes, to like the meltdowns, to the Axl and the hired hand, to the making up and how that even happened as well. Like a full-on, it'd probably have to be like a 5-hour documentary or a 2-parter, but I would love to just kind of like see exactly what happened with that band.
Yeah, for me, just because I've interviewed him a couple of times, and they were really challenging interviews, but I know there's a lot going on that maybe someday he'll reveal if he feels comfortable enough, and that would be the Authorized Tool documentary, where we really get all the info, because Maynard doesn't say a lot, and there are some things that that definitely influence him, but he doesn't want to talk about when it comes to some of the songs he's done and the way he bees, and maybe why he treated like the backstage people the way he did, and all of the stuff that went on. I'd love to know the mindset of him and the other guys in the band.
Yeah, you have to. I feel like Maynard has to take off the quirky hat, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I know he likes to do that that's his thing. He likes comedy, and he likes awkward comedy. But I feel like if you're going to do it, I'd like to hear truly what was going on in his head with certain things.
Yeah, and I feel like that'll probably happen when he's 70, if it happens at all. I feel like it's one of those things where I'm not too sure. He's not a comfortable, sharer. He can talk about some stuff, but he's not really comfortable sharing, his innermost thoughts. Outside of whatever he throws in songs and music. That's about it. So,
would that cover just Tool, or would you want him to do all of his stuff, like A Perfect Circle and all his other stuff?
Well, that would be a Maynard documentary, and I wouldn't mind that either. I mean, I'll take a Maynard documentary. That way you can cover all his other stuff. I know he was influenced by Devo, which I was really excited to know, because I thought I was just being a weirdo making a stretch during an interview comparing one of his videos to a Devo video, and he shared he was a big Devo fan, and I did not know that about him.
Yeah.
So,
I would want to know about the other members as well, because they're all kind of interesting dudes, and I think it would be an interesting documentary. I agree. I like that one. Rev would be about orgy, right?
Of course,
I would be slightly interested to see an orgy documentary. Yes,
slightly,
absolutely. Actually, now, because Steve, you turned me on to it, but I watched the Limp Bizkit performance at Lollapalooza. Yes. The entire thing was flat out amazing.
They killed it, man. They crushed it.
Really, I mean, I forgot how amazing DJ Lethal really is, and so I would love to see kind of that whole behind the scenes of the early days, and even seeing what the hell they were doing and for the last 20 years.
Well, yeah, because they have a whole album's worth of material according to Wes Borland, their guitarist, but I guess Fred keeps throwing away the lyrics. He's like, I don't like this one. So just when they think they're done, he's like, nope, going back to the drawing board. So it's been this thing, and now finally they have a new song that they kind of unveiled at the show called Dad Vibes.
Yeah, Dad Vibes,
and what it seems like is when he wore that outfit, which is brilliant, he never took it off, and a lot of people are speculating because he knew that people would really focus on this old man look that he was doing, I'm a dad kind of look that he had on for Lollapalooza, and it would inadvertently be promoting the new song and the future record that's going to be coming out, because at no point did he drop that outfit. So at no point did they have pictures of him in a typical Fred Durst look.
Totally. And it really came down just to the simple fact, I think he didn't really want to go out there looking like old Fred Durst. Remember young Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, and look at Dad Vibes Fred Durst, who is wearing something completely different.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it was amazing. I loved the whole performance.
All right, Dickie.
It has to be Rammstein.
As long as they focus on the dongs.
Well, yeah.
Whoa!
No.
But they sold clona bones.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. They have the whole box set had their,
They were pretty pricey, a friend told me. No, but it's really fascinating, because Till, who is the lead singer, he was actually, they were projecting him to be a part of the Olympics, I think sometime in the 80s, as a swimmer. So, from being a potential Olympic swimmer to fronting one of the greatest, craziest bands of all time with that kind of imagery and stuff, it blows my mind, and I want to know their life stories.
Nice.
But yeah, messed up.
So I love a Slipknot documentary.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be interesting too.
That'd be a roller coaster, because they've obviously had some tragedy, most recently with Joey, but that's not the only member of the band that's passed. So that would be a tough one at times.
See, a lot of the reason that documentaries would be good, I think, is that it would really shine a light on mental health, because we know that, especially within our genre, a lot of folks are struggling. A lot of times the music is cathartic for them and they get it out. But, Steve, you've been around the industry, these documentaries, I think, could be really, really helpful as people start sharing what's really going on. That's what I love about musicians that will come out and go, here's what's happening. Because then I think it'll really shine a light on on stuff and make people talk about it more and more people will get help and we'll have less tragedy. That's what I'm hoping, and I think documentaries are really good like that.
Well, that's what I always loved about the Behind the Music docuseries that VH1 did, because it was always so interesting just to hear about the highs and lows of a band, except the one that I always remember was Hootie and the Blowfish. There was no lows, other than that people made fun of them. But they were like, we just made a lot of money and stopped playing music, but we really like each other and everything's cool. And I'm like, this is like a breath of fresh air when it comes to all these sad documentaries that I was watching them religiously. And then the Hootie and the Blowfish one, I'm just like, these are just some regular Joes just had a monster record and are living well off of it because of that.
Yeah, and Darius has, made himself a nice career in the country world.
Yes,
so it's like, yeah, I mean, you're right, Steve. Those guys got really lucky that they had the monster record and apparently weren't around each other enough to hate each other.
No.
That worked out really well for him. Yesterday, Steve, he did get this one wrong.
The eyewear Ray-Ban was founded in what decade?
I have knockoffs. They're called Roy Bonds.
What?
70s?
No.
60s?
No.
50s?
No.
Yeah, I did not know it was as early as the 30s, but it was. You got a shot at beating Steve? All right, you got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Migs. We'll do that at 8:51 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another question from a listener. I'm getting my wages garnished. Can bankruptcy help with that?
Absolutely. One of the big reasons people file bankruptcy is because they have a judgment or a lawsuit against them, or their wages are getting garnished, and so they can't pay their other regular ongoing bills. People sometimes think that you can't file bankruptcy once they have a judgment against them or once a garnishment has started, and that's not true. Filing bankruptcy will immediately stop any garnishment that you have going, except for child support, and stop your creditors from continuing on with garnishments of your bank account, your wages, and in most cases will discharge that liability through the bankruptcy process. And we can file a bankruptcy case for you usually the day you come in.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. Thanks for listening.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too big to fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
The world needed a safer trampoline. Dr. Keith Alexander, inventor of the Spring-Free Trampoline, wanted to bring the joy of trampolining to his daughter. His wife said they were too dangerous, so he invented his own. Spring-Free Trampoline is the world's safest trampoline, with no springs or hard edges. Now, parents can have peace of mind that their kids are outside jumping safely. To learn more, visit springfreetrampoline.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. Are we close to building machines that are almost human? And can new technology give us superpowers? Find out on Super Sapiens. And in 1919, a British composer wrote the longest and most complex symphony in history. Conductors tried to perform it, but failed, declaring it cursed. Now a group of musicians will attempt the impossible, if they dare, on Curse of the Gothic Symphony. Watch now on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.